Hello. How are you guys doing? Look, I got my hair cut today. It looked cute earlier. But look how full and thick my hair is. Like, my hair is like crazy thick. Do you see this? Oh my God, look at that. How are you guys doing today? I think I'm like sick. Like, I don't know what is going on, but like, I had my hair appointment this morning, and I woke up and now my throat hurts over here. I don't know if this is a side result of my tooth or whatever, but it doesn't feel related. I don't even know how to explain it, but like, I just feel like I have like a sore throat, like coming from this side though. And so, I canceled my training appointment, rescheduled it, and I came home after my appointment and I let the dogs out and stuff, and then I was like, I'm gonna, after my hair appointment, and then I haven't even gone out to I'm going to get coffee right now, and it's 5:47. Like, Alex will be home in like 45 minutes. And I'm gonna listen to my audiobook a little bit, and I think what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna film like 15 or 20 minutes of my vlog and then listen to my audiobook for a little bit, and then like 15 or 20 minutes of my vlog, and then I'm gonna film it and have it up like ready to go earlier tonight so I can get a good night's sleep. I think that's kind of like part of it. But anyway, I came home and I like took the dogs out, and then I was sitting there and I was doing a bunch of work on the computer, a bunch of stuff that I had to do, and I was like, PP was like standing right down by like next to me, and I was like, he was like, and I was like, what do you want? Are you wanting a treat? And so I like ran to the kitchen because I thought he wanted a treat, and he like ran to the stairs, and Boo and Tucker like ran to the stairs, and I was like, okay, so obviously they want to go take a nap. And I was like, do you guys want to go take a nap? And they know the word nap because I'm like, come on you guys, let's go take a nap. And so they all ran upstairs, and I was like, yeah, I think it's time to take a nap. Like, I don't feel very good anyway. I slept all afternoon. I completely slept all afternoon, and I woke up and it's been lightly snowing in Indianapolis. It's actually very pretty. Like, it's not, I mean, it's sticking a little bit, so you can see that it snowed. This is the kind of snow I would have been real excited about, like, in the early November. But in January, I'm like, this is not snow. But, and now I'm up, but, like, I was just, like, I was looking through a bunch of stuff on, I finally ordered a camera battery on Amazon. I just did that. And then I was looking at a bunch of books online. And then I sat down and I read for a little bit, and I was like, I still don't feel good. Like, I don't know what is going on. Like, I don't even really know how to pinpoint it. I just am exhausted. Like, I just feel really exhausted. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if maybe, like, the tooth pain just, like, has worn me out or what. But, like, the weird thing about it is I kind of have, like, a high endurance for pain. Like, when I tell you that the tooth pain that I had is, like, bad, like, was bad, it is, like, really bad. Like, really, really bad. Like, it feels like somebody's taking a knife and putting it in between my teeth. Like, yesterday, that's how it felt. But I don't, but, like, I can typically, you know, handle pain. So I don't know, maybe it's just been really tiring me out, you know? I was like, it's not gonna kill you. I didn't make any videos today. I was so excited to get up and, like, when I came back from, like, my training session and stuff to make videos, I just was like, I can't today. Like, I'm just exhausted. Like, you ever feel it, like, in your eyes? Like, I just felt it in my eyes. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna relax, and I stayed in bed with the dogs, and I don't know, I feel a little bit better right now. So, I don't know, hopefully, I've got some things I have to do tomorrow, so, hopefully tomorrow I feel much better than I feel, you know, right now, or earlier today. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like, I don't even, like, I was talking to Alex, who's like, because he was, like, texting me kind of throughout the day, he's like, are you feeling better? And I'm like, I don't even know how to explain it. I just am exhausted. I'm just, like, exhausted. So, hopefully tomorrow I'm more alert and I feel, you know, rested, and I don't know, has anybody ever gone through tooth pain before? Have you felt this way? Like where you just feel like completely zapped of energy? That's how I feel. I feel like I just completely don't have any energy whatsoever. So anyway, I'm going through Starbucks. I'm like, well, maybe if I get a coffee at Starbucks, that will, you know, help me out a little bit, right? Who knows? I haven't had any coffee today, so. I'm dying for some coffee. And then Alex said he'll be home like 6:30-ish. So, that'll be nice. And he'll just probably watch some TV and hang out. And I'll probably watch some TV with him and stuff, you know. And then we'll just, I don't know, that'll be our evening. I'm gonna be real excited at the house of the Paredes Monns. Yeah. I had like this list of all of these things today. This is where I really struggle with it because like I had this list of all these things I wanted to do today. You know, from my training to other stuff. And the thing is about my training, this is what I was telling Tanya today, because my tooth did hurt a little bit earlier today. Like that sudden pain that happens. The thing is that I don't want to like be in the middle of training. Like he's pretty forceful and like be like all of a sudden I have to stop and he's like, no, come on, push through, and I'm like, no, like seriously, like I have to stop. You don't understand, this is really painful. So I don't know, I'm so tired of dealing with this tooth stuff. At this point I'm just like, pull all my teeth. I mean, not really, I don't really want to pull all my teeth, but I kind of am craving a hot coffee tonight.
Welcome to Starbucks. Can I get started for you today?
Can I get a venti iced coffee with 2 equal?
Sounded like you're about to get something else there.
Well, I kind of want hot coffee. Do you guys have like a blonde blend?
I could do like a blonde Americano for you.
Oh, that's way too much. I don't want that.
Well, we can also do a pour over if you would prefer.
No, that's okay. I'll just do the iced coffee.
With 2 equal?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Alright, I'll see you up here.
Thanks. I always feel bad having them do like a pour over. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's like a lot. I'm like, I just don't love the whatever it is, the Pike Place or whatever their coffee is. I like the blonde blend. So I don't love the dark roast at Starbucks. Here's a true story. If I had to pick, and yes, I'm back to the 2 equals, and I told my trainer that. If I had to pick, like, okay, if I was gonna put coffee in order, I would put like the blonde blend I love. Now, forget the K-cups and all that kind of stuff. I'm just talking about like going through somewhere. I love the blonde blend. It's like my favorite. But if I can't have the blonde blend at Starbucks, I'd rather go to a gas station. And honestly, Speedway has really good coffee. I love Speedway's coffee. But my favorite is like when you stop at a gas station at like 3 o'clock in the morning and it's just like some random gas station, you know, not like any like name brand like Shell or BP. Although BP has really good coffee. Have you ever seen those coffees where they like grind it? And then if you have that kind of BP Connect or whatever it's called, BP, I don't know what it's called. But anyway, if you have it, they like blend it for you. You can pick which kind you want and then it like comes out. It's really good. Like they have great coffee at BP. But I love just like when you go to some like just gas station and like off the highway in the middle of the night, you know? And I'm trying to keep my Starbucks app open to pay and it's like the line is not moving, so I'll just leave it, I guess. But you know, like when you stop at like off the highway in the middle of the night on a road trip and it's like you just stop at some like gas station that has like literally like 2 fuel pumps and you go in and they have like 2 pots of coffee and they have like decaf and regular, right? And you get like a cup of like regular coffee and it's like hands down like the best coffee you've ever had in your entire life. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Oh my god, it's fantastic. I love that. He's like handing the coffee. He's like way out the window, and this woman's not like grabbing it. And she's like saying something back to him. These people that work at the Starbucks are so nice. Yeah, and now my bottom teeth are hurting, and she told me that that would happen. She's like, when you're having tooth pain on the top, it'll go to like the bottom teeth. It's great. This woman got like 15 drinks. And she's like so far away from the window that the guy's like way out the window, like handing him to her, and she's just like this. He's like way out the window, and she's like this. Rude. I'd feel so bad. I'm going to have to take this cup in earlier. My turn to get coffee. And I love my coffee. Don't try to steal my coffee.
Hi, it's 3:43.
Hey. That woman had you hanging all the way out the window.
I know, I can barely feel my face. Makes smiling easier, so.
Aw, have a good one.
Thank you, you too.
Always such a positive attitude, aren't they? Like the Starbucks people are so happy all the time. I was with a friend of mine, we were going to Meijer, this was a long time ago, and there's this woman at our Meijer, and she's like, it's obviously like a retirement job or something for her, and she's like so happy when you walk in the door, and she's like, welcome to Meijer! She's like so excited. She's like, hi! She's like, what are you looking for today? She's like so excited, and I love this woman, okay? I absolutely love her, and she's so nice. But like, you'd think if she was that friendly, that she would remember who you are. She never remembers who you are. I'm always like, hi, how are you? And she's like, hi, how are you? Like, she has no clue who I am, right? But she's so friendly. And I love her. I just love it. She's so positive, right? And I don't think it's an act. Like, I really don't. And so anyway, my friend and I were going through there one night, and we walked in the door, and... Oh my God, I have to call my friend a reminder of this. This was so funny. So we were going through there, and my friend was like, this was probably, she was going, let's just say she was going through a really horrible divorce, okay? And her husband is a complete ass. He is a complete ass. So anyway, she's just, nothing's gonna be happy for her, right? So we go in, and the woman's like, hi, how are you? And we like as soon as we walked by her, my friend looks at me and she goes, what does she have to be so happy about? So to this day, whenever I see people like that are like laughing around her and stuff, I'm always like, what do they have to be happy about? Oh God, she's so funny. I'm like thinking of all these like stories. She's like a friend of mine that prefers not to be like on video. And like, I have all these funny stories about like things to do with us. Oh my God. Oh well. Now it's kind of like really snowing a little bit. It's pretty. I didn't know that we were supposed to get, I mean, we sat at dinner last night and we looked at the weather, and I didn't. Do you guys ever just think it's weird? Like, this vlog is weird. That I vlog, like, that I actually just sit in in a car and I talk to a camera. But I mean, I'm talking to you, but like, do you guys just ever think it's weird? I sometimes, like, I don't think it's weird. Like, my friends totally think it's weird. They're like, so you drive around in a car and you talk to a camera? And I'm like, yeah. And Alex is like, and people watch. And I'm like, yeah, lots of people watch, Alex. People enjoy it. they feel like we have a connection. Like, I feel like we have a connection. And he just laughs because I think that's really nice that people like to watch it, you know? But, like, sometimes I think it's just kind of really funny. It just is kind of weird sometimes to me that I'm like, but I love it. And it's so, like, therapeutic for me. I don't even know how to explain it to you. It's, like, just really therapeutic to just drive and talk. It's like I've been doing it for so long now. Like, every once in a while, like just now, like it kind of comes out of the blue that like it's like, okay, this is kind of weird. But other than that, like it doesn't really, like I don't think very often like this is like normal people don't drive around in a car and talk to a camera. You know what I mean? Oh well. I was exhausted, lacking motivation. I didn't feel like I had accomplished a whole lot today except for getting my hair cut. And you guys have cheered me up, so thank you. It has served, I mean, truly, it has served a purpose today. I appreciate it. You know, like, I think for me also, on days that I just feel completely unaccomplished, like I haven't done anything. And, you know, it's been hard for me because I've had like a couple days of this in a row now. Like, you know, I posted videos yesterday, but then like the 4 days before that I hadn't made any videos. And I felt rather unaccomplished in my life, you know, and it's hard for me. I'm somebody that is a list maker and a list checker offer, and I feel like, okay, if I'm getting this stuff done, then I feel very accomplished. And, you know, if I did this and I did that and I did this and whatever, you know, I feel very accomplished. And in fact, Tanya was saying to me last night, she was like, it's interesting to me, she said, that you're not like kind of like obsessed with going to the gym already. And I said, what do you mean? And she goes, well, like every other time, I mean, it's weird to me too, but I wish I was. Every other time that like I've started working out, I become like quickly obsessed with going to the gym. Like I'm there like 7 nights a week. And she's like, that, you know, in the past, like every time, it's really starting to snow now. She's like, in the past, every time that you would start working out, you'd be like working out all the time. She's like, do you not like your gym? And I was like, I love my gym. Like I love Anytime Fitness, you know, but I was like, I don't know what it is, Tanya. I said, I don't know if it's the winter. I don't know if it's the cold. I don't know if I'm just lacking motivation. I don't feel like sad or depressed or anything like that. I think the weather is just hard. It's hard for me to get motivated, and then I just feel very like blah, if that makes sense, you know. So I don't know, but I think the last week has been really good for me to realize that like I don't have to be like super over accomplished. You know, like there's a lot of stuff that I do. There's a lot of stuff I do that, like, I never put on video or on my vlog, you know? But then there's, like, I don't know, I just feel like I'm somebody that always, like, has a list, and I'm like, okay, I gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta do this, gotta do that. And, like, if I don't accomplish, like, a lot of the things on my list, I'm, like, beating myself up. And then my friends are saying to me, and my husband, you know, like, you need to learn to, like, just be present more, you need to relax, which is true. But then when I do relax, and, like, I have a day like today, like, I really struggle with it. I'm like, okay, you literally got nothing accomplished, but got your hair cut. But let's just talk again about how cute it is. She did such a great job, didn't she? Look at that. Okay, well the camera's falling, but fall back, camera. How cute is that? She did a really good job, didn't she? Do you know what I've been thinking a lot about today? I don't know why, this is so random. Do you guys remember the poem episode on Roseanne when Darlene wrote the poem? Oh my God. I don't know why I've been thinking a lot about that today. I haven't eaten anything today either. I need to eat something. I don't know what I need to eat though. I was kind of craving Noodles and Company. Alex ate late, so he's not hungry. He had Chipotle. I might get it just to like Whole Foods or something. I don't know what sounds good. Not sushi. I had that last night. I'm not hungry for sushi again at all. My mom, when my mom was alive, like I'm looking at this strip mall over here, and this strip mall has like all these cute little stores, right? Like, this store is called, like, I don't know, Twisted Sisters Gifts and Copper Creek Canyon. It's like, I don't know, furniture and stuff like that. My mom would literally, like, get a cup of coffee and she would, like, walk strip malls. Do you guys do that? Like, she would go to these, like, strip malls and she would just, like, literally in the afternoon just go from, like, one store to the next, the next, the next. And then what she would do is, she would find things in there that were on sale. Like, this is how she bought. It is, like, really snowing. Look at this, you guys. You see? It's really pretty. Well, you can't ever... It never really shows up on the camera. But it's kind of, like, blowing in the streets a little bit. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. Anyway, she would always, like, go to these little stores. And then, like, at Christmas time, like, for my aunt and Caroline and myself, like, she would, like, buy things that were, like, real cheap, like $5 little, like, coasters or something, you know, but they would be real unique. They would have, like, you know, she would find, like, a coaster that had, like, To Kill a Mockingbird on it, or, like, a picture of Harper Lee. She would find things that were really unique, because she was constantly going to these little stores, these little gift stores and stuff, and she would save them for birthdays or Christmas or whatever. I found tons of it when she passed away. All these things that she had been saving for. And she would have it, like, in a little paper bag from the store. And, like, on the outside of it, it would say, like, Caroline, Christmas, you know, 2012 or something like that, you know? And, I don't know. I just think it's cool. Like, I mean, I feel like that's kind of just... See, that's where do you ever feel like you are constantly questioning yourselves, like, am I wasting time? Like, what am I doing? Is this a waste of time? Is this not a waste of time? I think I'm struggling with that, like, right now in my life, you know? You know, I worked so hard so that by this point in my life could be slow. I mean, 80 hours a week as a counselor, you know? For years. And loved it. I mean, I loved it. But I did that because my plan was between 45 and 50, I wanted to be semi-retired. And, you know, now that I am, I get bored, I think, is part of it. I don't know. I was thinking today, I was like, I need to really travel more. We have quite a few trips planned this year. Los Angeles. Well, that weekend, right after we get back, we might be going to Las Vegas for a work trip for Alex. And then Miami, Mexico, San Diego. At some point this summer, we'll definitely do San Diego. And then I don't know where else. I'm really excited about our Miami, Mexico trip. That'll be a lot of fun. And Los Angeles, I have a lot of really fun things planned for that week too. I mean, we're only going to be there for a couple days, 3 days, I think, but I'm really excited about that. Staying in West Hollywood, I can't believe I've vlogged for this long. So early, it's 6:09. Staying in West Hollywood. You guys, I haven't been to LA since I was 16 years old. Like, I don't really know what, like, Alex is like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? I'm excited about it. It'll be fun. We'll see. And then get back from that, and then we might be, like, we literally might be, like, flying in and then, like, 2 or 3 days later flying out to Las Vegas. It just depends. I really, to be honest, I might let Alex just do that trip alone if he ends up going, because I just don't want to leave the dogs that long, because then that's like, it ends up being like 12 days and the dogs are like at Tanya's, And for Miami and Mexico, we're probably gonna have somebody house sit the dogs for us. But like for this trip, we can't like find anybody to do it. I mean, it's getting kind of down to the wire, and I don't know anybody. So Carlos's friend that used to he doesn't live here anymore. So I don't know when he comes back. He's supposed to move back. I don't know when he's moving back. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll figure something out. I didn't know we were supposed to get any snow. This is crazy. It's pretty. I think I was going to tell you guys what that book was called that I wanted to read, that was about the people being at the, what do you call it? At the hotel. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant, except for Alice. Do you guys remember that song? My mom was such a Arlo and Woody Guthrie fan. You talk about original folk singers. Oh my God, on my list. So I have like a list. Okay, here's my list. So are you ready? I have a daily list, and then I have like a weekly list, and then I have like goals I want to accomplish that month, and then of course I have goals for like the year and stuff, right? Well, I have a record player already. I kind of want another record player, but the record player that I have needs a needle, like really bad. And so I've had on my list for like, I don't even know how to put a record player needle in there. I have no clue. I'm sure I'll figure it out. I'll probably look up a YouTube video. I literally go to YouTube for everything to learn how to do stuff. But, so I like have had on my list forever that I need to get a needle for this record. That whole area over there, we just need to clean up that whole area. It's kind of a mess. Maybe I'll do a live stream tonight, then I'll feel like somewhat accomplished. I feel like I actually got some, excuse me, done today. I swear this Rally's used to be a Sonic. It's so funny because, like, in that graphic novel that I'm reading, that Unlovable, she goes to, like, Sonic every day with her friends. I don't remember Sonic when I was in high school. Like, am I crazy? Did we have Sonics in high school when I was, like, in the 80s? I don't remember Sonics. But my ex, who is from Seymour, Indiana, they had a Sonic down there, and I swear to God, maybe I'm dreaming this and this is Rally's, but I swear it was Sonic. And we used to go, and we used to, it was like, it's Sonic like a drive-in, and we would sit there, and we would get hash browns with cheese, like fries, but hash browns, like tater tots, not hash browns, tater tots with cheese. Does Sonic have tater tots? And I remember them being absolutely delicious. And, yeah, what else? I don't know what else. I just don't know. All right, well, I'm going to take a break for just a little bit, and I'm going to call Tanya, actually, and I will be back in, well, I don't know that I'll actually be back in 2 and 2, but pretty close. Bye. Okay, I'm back, and I have talked to Tanya, and I have talked to Alex. When I was talking to Alex on the phone, it was interesting because, like, my ear was kind of like underneath my ear was kind of hurting. You know, like I have it, like it feels like I have an ear infection or something. I don't know. Who knows at this point? I probably just need to go to the doctor and get completely checked out too. So if I'm not feeling back to normal tomorrow, I'm gonna call and schedule an appointment with my doctor. But I talked to Tanya, and because she's doing like this service work thing tonight, taking a meeting. And so I was like, with her sponsee, she's doing that. So I was like, are you guys still doing that? She's like, yeah. She was like, do you want to go? And I was like, yeah, I told you I would go, but I wasn't feeling good earlier. And she's like, well, why don't you meet us there? And I was like, okay. I was like, I think it'd be good for me to get out of myself for a little while, you know, go give back, do something, you know, that has nothing to do with me, and then maybe I'll feel a little bit more like accomplished or motivated for the day. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna meet them at 7:45. It's 6:30 right now. I'm gonna listen to my audiobook for about 15 more minutes, and then I'm gonna go home and take a shower and change. And I wanted to do laundry today, and I didn't do laundry, so it'll probably be my turtleneck sweater again that I wear, and throw that on. But yeah, that'll be good. I'll feel like I get out of myself. I always feel better whenever I do like recovery related stuff, you know. Plus, this is for a lot of people that are like in early sobriety, and that'll be good. And I don't really have to do anything but just kind of sit there with them, and it's kind of like a panel discussion. So like people ask questions and we just answer questions about, you know, sobriety and things like that. So it'll be good. It'll be good for me to get out of myself. So I'm kind of excited about that now. And you know, I was talking to Alex, and he's like, you know, he was like, babe, maybe this has just been kind of like a staycation for you, and you just needed to kind of like take a week where you just didn't really do a whole lot. I was like, yeah, maybe you're right. And I'd already made my list for tomorrow, so I was like, I'm gonna get up tomorrow, I'm gonna be motivated and get all my stuff done and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but I'm excited about tonight. And then Tanya was like, well, I can drive home with you, and I was like, okay. So otherwise, I would have probably just went and gotten food, and then it's like really coming down the snow now. And I told Alex, because he was like walking out of work, I said, have you got your car yet? And he was like, no, I'm just walking out now. And I said, it's snowing. He goes, great. He hates the snow. And yeah. I don't know what I was going to say. I was going to say something, and I interrupted myself. You know you are an interrupter when you interrupt yourself talking, you know? I have exactly 2 hours left of my audiobook. Yeah, just a little bit over 2 hours left of my audiobook, so I should finish The Stranger Beside Me tonight. Oh, I know what I was going to say. If I didn't go do this, I'm sure what I would do is just go get food, sit at home, eat it, and then probably go to sleep for another 2 hours, you know, which... on top of all of that, I would feel even more like I hadn't really done anything. So, today I noticed when I was like on Netflix looking around that it's like the Ted Bundy tapes or something came out. I don't think that is the one with Zac Efron. But then I also noticed that on the 27th on Real TV, there's a 2-part, which that's actually the day that we're doing the live stream on The Stranger Beside Me, but there's a 2-part like documentary show on the whole Ted Bundy thing. It's called The Monster or something like that. So I got to record that, and because I want to watch that. But then there's the Zac Efron movie that's coming out. I think that's coming out. Well, Mel today texted me and she was like, happy Ted Bundy Netflix Day. So it must have come out today. But there's a documentary on Netflix too that's also about Ted Bundy. So I want to watch that and see what that's about. I'm like so into this case right now. It's so weird. Like they reserved the front row at the trial for all of these basically like Ted Bundy groupies to come in and like watch the trial, and they were like obsessed. It was like all of these young girls that were like obsessed with him. And they talked about like, even though like he was supposedly like, you know, I mean he was the serial killer, that that for them it was like the ultimate, like she explains it in the book, Anne Rule does, that to these girls it was like the ultimate form of masculinity, which is so weird to me. The other thing that's weird to me is so much of this case rides on hair samples, like hair that they found in like his, like would make these masks out of pantyhose, and they find these hairs in there and they match it to like the case that happened at this Chi Omega house. And there's so much about the hair stuff. Well, what's interesting about that is when I watched I think it was the Innocent Man series on Netflix. It was either that or Making of a Murderer, but I think it was the Innocent Man. They talk about how like hair samples in homicide trial cases like aren't really like today, since we use DNA, like hair is not like that valid, like comparing hair samples back in the day. Like they weren't good estimates of like you couldn't really, like back in the day they used them, but like the way that they would say like microscopically we did this or we did that, like it was all in the language of how they talked about it. Like there wasn't really, it wasn't really like a prominent form of evidence. Like it wasn't fair. And so it's interesting to me. I'm wondering, like in retrospect, like now that we have all this DNA testing out and stuff, like did they ever test Ted Bundy's DNA to these cases to know like if he really did all of these cases? What's crazy is that it isn't even so much like when you listen to the book. What's crazy if you get to the court trial is like he defended himself. Like I didn't know that. Like he was his own defense attorney at one point, and he he questions the police officer that found, like, that went into the rooms of the girls that were murdered in this Chi Omega house. Like, so he's the murderer questioning the police officer on the stand about the murders that he committed. It's like when you like really sit back and you kind of like get what's going on, you're like, this is legit crazy town. Like this is seriously crazy, right? The arrogance and like the narcissism and the craziness of all of this, you know, is just like unbelievable. And that they deemed him sane to stand trial, like, but that he felt like it was appropriate to defend him. It's just, it's so crazy, you guys. I don't know, the grand, and all of it is just like so crazy. Of course, I just got behind a accident here. This is gonna be fun. Nobody's gonna let me over. Oh, Lord. And then the next book that we read is In Cold Blood, and I don't really know anything about that case either, so I'm excited about reading about that case too. I feel like I saw the movie about it though. I feel like I watched, it's like a black and white movie. I feel like I watched that. Being that I need to probably be there in an hour and 10 minutes, I probably should start heading home to get ready. I can't believe it's snowing outside. I didn't know it was supposed to snow outside. This vlog has like really helped me tonight. I'm starting to like, I mean, I wasn't feeling like necessarily down. I just was feeling like, do you ever just feel like blah? Like, blah, you know what I mean? Like that's how I felt earlier today. I was just like, blah, blah. Now I feel better, so thank you. I'm not used to the, two things I'm not used to in this car yet is the turn signal noise. I don't love the turn signal noise on this, and you guys know I love turn signal sounds. But the other thing is that when I lock my car, like the beep, I'm not used to it either, but I will tell you that the dogs are used to it, because as soon as they hear it, they start barking, and I can hear them inside. As soon as I lock the door, they can, like, I can hear them inside going, you know, arr! They're so cute. All right, you guys, listen, I'm gonna get off here and go home and start getting ready for this meeting, and I will be back in a little while. Bye. Hello. Well, I took a shower. Do I look okay?
With her, the young man in whom she had taken.
On my audiobook. Hi. I took a shower. Alex came home. He was home when I got home. And he was feeding the dogs, and he had taken them out, and he was feeding the dogs, and then, come on, camera. And, it's just, my phone is so weird. I don't know why it does this, but anyway, like gives me directions to like the nearest place I've been or something. But anyway, so I hung out with Alex for a little bit, like literally like 10 minutes. And then he was just on Instagram putting together a picture for his Instagram. And then I took a shower and yeah, and now I am on my way to go meet Tanya Jean and her sponsee. And it'll be fun. I'm excited about it. I kind of go through periods where I do like tons of service work and recovery. Like the year that I started my vlog, I had a service position. I don't know if people remember this, but so every Sunday morning I had to go to, well, not every Sunday, was it the first Sunday or the last Sunday? I think it was the second Sunday of every month. I had to go to this meeting. And then, well, I've held several different positions, but then like just this, like taking a meeting into places, it always reminds me of where I came from, which I think is important, you know. So yeah. And I was always taught that we can't keep what we have without giving it away. And, you know, I think it's a good way for, I don't know, I think any kind of like volunteer work or doing something that's not about you, even if it's just helping out a friend move or, you know, talking to a friend that, you know, is going through hard times or whatever. It's like anything to like get outside of ourselves, I think helps us just as much as it helps them. Because I think it puts our stuff in perspective and it makes us realize, you know, it's not all about us and whatever. You know, I've told this story on here before, but a couple years ago, Tanya, like, so Tanya and Eric have like a really good couple that they're friends, they've been friends with for like 30 years. And the husband had a brain cancer and, or a brain tumor. He passed away since then. It was very sad. But one day, like I was just, this was before I was on YouTube. I had just had this day and I was just complaining about everything. I felt like the world was working against me. Do you ever just have those days? And so I went to go pick up Tanya for like a fountain pop, you know, and I was like, I was telling her about all this kind of stuff. I kind of complained to her throughout the day, like talking to her on the phone and stuff. And she's like, yeah, I kind of had the same kind of day yesterday. And so anyway, I was like, well, what did you do today? And she was like, well, I went over to so-and-so and so-and-so's house, this couple's house. And she was like, and this was when he was really, really sick towards the end, like the last 6 months. And she said, I cleaned their house, I made them dinner, you know, I got them movies so they could watch a movie together so they didn't have to do anything, they could just spend the whole day together. And I was just like, Tanya, I said, you know, you're so amazing. Like I said, you know, how do you get there? And she was like, well, that was what I was taught to do, you know? And, you know, that was what I was taught to do too. And I really tried to do a lot of that, like get outside of myself and do things for others unasked, you know? I mean, I think that one thing, like having gone through like my mom's sickness and my mom's death and things, one of the things that was so amazing to me is like advice to people that have friends that are going through stuff. You know, it's like, don't always ask somebody what they need. Don't always say like, hey, if you need something, let me know. Like very rarely will people call. I mean, I think it takes a person that's gone through like a lot of sickness or a lot of tragedy to finally start reaching out and asking for help from people. What's better is, you know, and like, I feel like this is a generational thing or maybe a small town thing. I don't know, like my mom and my aunt were so good at this, but I feel like it's almost like, you know, back in the day, like if somebody died or somebody got sick, you know, like my mom, my aunt would like take a casserole over with like a loaf of bread, you know, or muffins or cookies or whatever, you know? It's like, I think to just do something, anything would be great, you know, like not necessarily always say, because I think we don't know what to do in those situations. So it's like we say, you know, like, well, if you need anything, let me know. Well, you know, like instead of us just, you know, buying some movies and taking them over there, or a book or magazines, you know, or like Tanya did, you know, make dinner, and you just say, I'm coming over, I'm gonna make you guys dinner. No, yeah, I'm gonna come over and make dinner, you know, whatever. And I think those things are so appreciated. And you know, like, I look back on when my mom was sick. I mean, she was in the hospital for a long time. People just did stuff. Like, I didn't have to ask. They just did it. And I think, like, my hair is kind of like driving me a little nuts right now. I think, like, had I had to ask for it, I would have spent 24 hours a day at the hospital. Because, like, I didn't really know what my role should be. And I sure as hell didn't know what to ask of other people. And, you know, I've read that a lot in meditation since, that, like, when somebody's going through something, instead of saying, like, hey, if you need something, let me know, because very rarely do people ever let us know that they need something, you know, or to say, like, hey, I'm here for you if you need me, but to actually just go be there for that person, you know. And when I talk about trying to be a better version of myself, those are the things that I try to do, you know, is be that person, you know, for my friends that are going through stuff, you know. Call somebody up and be like, hey, let's go get coffee. Let's check in. No, come on, I'm gonna go get you coffee, or I'm gonna take you out to lunch, or we're gonna go out to dinner, or whatever, you know. And I think that that's important to do, you know, or just any little thing, you know. It reminds me of that movie with Meryl Streep and Renee Zellweger called One True Thing. I love that movie. And there was a part in it when Renee Zellweger and Meryl Streep, so Meryl Streep has cancer in the movie, but there's like this group of women, and once a week, like, one of them goes and picks up this friend of theirs because she's going through this horrible divorce and she won't leave her house. And they pick her up and they just drive her around and they, like, sing the music and stuff like that, right? And so she and her daughter have, like, a conversation about it, about, like, why they do that, you know. And they're like, because she says something like, because that's just what we do, like, we take care of one another, you know. And I think there's so much to be said for that. It's like, I think we're such a takedown mentality anymore, or you know, like a selfish, self-centered mentality, that we don't think about our neighbors, we don't think about, you know, like, the people around us, and, you know, our friends, our extended friends, you know, extended family that might be going through something. And, you know, when I'm sitting there on a daily basis, I'm like, I'm pretty content with my life. Like, I feel pretty blessed. You know, it's always good for me to, like, do something that has nothing to do with me. Like, getting excited to go tonight has kind of, like, turned my night around a little bit. So, I'm happy about this. I'm happy that I have this to go do, you know? Not that I think it's going to make much of a difference to anybody, but I'm just going to probably sit there. So, I'm hoping that, because I was telling Tanya, I said, my fear is that, like, halfway through, my tooth is going to start hurting like crazy, because I can just never, like, predict when it's going to happen. And she goes, then just get up and leave. And she goes, it's just, you know, not, Tanya and I say it's not that deep a lot to each other. And I go, yeah, you're right. And, so, I know, I think it's crushing sometimes when we realize we're not the most important person in a room, or the most important person of what's going on. And, you know, the reality is that people maybe are just not as consumed with us as we think we are at some point. But, like, I kind of figured that out, like, 10, 15 years ago, you know, like, people just aren't as consumed with me, Peter, people just aren't as consumed with you, Peter, as you think they are, you know? Like, my mom would go through these phases where she would say, like, oh, you know, like, I feel like so-and-so's talking about me, or so-and-so's talking. I'm like, Mom, like, you just listen, okay? The world does not rotate around you. Like, you're just, I love you, and you're important to me, but you're just not that important to the grand scheme of what's going on in the world. Like, yes, you should feel important. You should feel like your life matters. But no, not the whole world is talking about you, you know? And then when you know that, it kind of, like, pulls it back. And then you realize you're part of this connectivity, right? And so then I think it's about sharing with each other, like, you know, this is how I relate, or this is, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just think it's good for us to get out of ourselves and do things for other people. And, you know, my Peterisms channel, at one point, I did this whole thing, and I think I talked about it on here, too, about random acts of kindness. You know, just think about this. There's, like, 2,000 people that watch my videos, 2,000 people at minimum that watch this video every day, okay? If every person that watched this video, now, I mean, no matter if you're watching this video because you like me or you're looking for discrepancies, whatever, okay? If each of us did one random act every day, imagine 2,000 random acts of kindness put out into the world. and how that would affect the world. Like how that would positively start to change the world, you know? I mean, that's a pretty powerful thought. And I'm like, this channel is not a big channel, you know? Imagine if it was on a level of somebody that had millions of subscribers and, you know, even just a 10th of those people put out like some random act of kindness, 100,000 random acts of kindness in one day, you know? What if it was a YouTube movement that like one day everybody said we're gonna do, all of us, random acts of kindness today, and 100 different YouTubers had just a 10th of their people? Can you imagine how many people that would impact? I don't know. And it's something that, you know, I look for ways every day to do kind of little random acts of kindness because A, it gets me out of myself, B, I always feel better about myself or about the world, you know, and C, I get enjoyment out of seeing somebody else get happy, and D, why not cheer somebody up and make their day a little bit better, you know? It takes very, very little to do that. You know, one simple way that I do is like, like I've said this, I don't fight for like parking spots anymore. Like if I'm like looking for a parking spot and somebody comes that way, I just let them have it. Even if it's like if I'm the one who obviously has the right to the parking spot, I'm just like, how about it? It's just not that important to me, you know? If it gets somebody so happy to have a parking spot that's close to them, whatever, I can walk a little bit. It's not gonna hurt me to walk a little bit, you know what I mean? There's just like a lot of like free things that we can do that don't cost anything to do little random acts of kindness. And I think, I don't know. When people do really little small things, even for me, it makes me feel so good. It really just brightens and cheers up my day so much, you know? I can do that too. I can give that back to others, I think. So, I don't know, maybe we need to all start thinking that way a little bit more. I know I need to start thinking that way even more, you know, of what can I do for others. So, all right, I'm gonna get off here and call Tanya. I've got about 15 more minutes, so I get there, I'm gonna see if she's there already. I got about, well, I'm supposed to be there in about 5-10 minutes, so I think I should be fine. Okay, I'll be back later, bye. Okay, I'm back. It's windy, so cold outside. It says 20 degrees outside, but it feels colder than that. I'm leaving Meijer. I just got some hummus. And Alex wanted some gummy bears and what else did he want? Sour Patch Kids. I gave him that entire bag of, what do you call it? All those gummies that I bought to review for my review channel. I gave them all to him, and he has like gone through almost the entire bag, except for the ones that he doesn't like. I was like, have you eaten all the gummies? He's like, yeah, they're gone. He's like, all the ones I like. So I took Tanya after the meeting to get a fountain pop, and then I took her home. And then I got some hummus because I'm hungry. Feeling good. My tooth is feeling good. The meeting was great. It was very humbling. It was all people that had been sober like less than 4 days. Really took me back a lot to when I first got sober. It was really good for me. And, you know, just to hear their stories was powerful. I don't know. Makes me so sad, you know. I was sitting in there tonight, I was thinking about, like, all the people that I've known that have come in and out of sobriety since I got sober, you know, and I was thinking that, like, you know, when I got sober, and I think it's hard, like, when you have 2 days sober to hear somebody say, oh, I have 24 years sober, and for that to like even like really mean anything, you know? And I've talked about this on here before, but like when I got sober, like somebody that had 10 or 20 years, like I just couldn't really relate to that really. It didn't connect with me. But I could relate to somebody that had 30 days sober or 6 months sober, you know, or whatever. And there's a friend of mine that got sober in his late 60s. You know, now you see a lot of people that are elderly that are coming in, getting sober late, you know, and I think like his story is so important because I think it's important for people to see, you know, like you can get sober at any age, like even if you're late 60s, like you still have a lot of good life left in you yet, you know? I think at the time, you know, like my mom got sober at 51, and I think for her it was hard because she was like, what's the point in getting sober now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but I mean, she, like, I think she would say when she looked back on her life, like some of the best years of her life were when she was sober, you know, like the last 12 years and 11 months of her life was probably some of the best times of her life because she was sober and, you know, remembered it. And, you know, that's not to say that like, you get sober and everything is perfect. I mean, I've been through a lot of shit in my sobriety, and I've gone through periods where life is hard, but I guess I feel like I have tools today, you know, to kind of get through some of that stuff and not have to feel so like desolate and alone. And I realize that I have lots of people that care about me, and you know, when I'm feeling like just down or lacking motivation or what's the point, you know, I can reach out to those people and be like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. And it's not like they fix it with magic, but you know, like they'll say, well, I've been there too, you know, I relate to that. I've gone through the exact same thing. And well, what got you through it? I don't know, calling somebody, going to a meeting, you know, inventorying, making a gratitude list is super powerful for me because it makes me look at the things I have in my life instead of the things I don't have, because I just have a lot of tools today, you know, that I can use to remind me of what a blessed life I have, and that life to me is a gift today. For many years that I didn't feel like that, you know, I felt like life was a burden. I didn't feel like life was a gift. You couldn't have told me that that wouldn't have meant anything to me. Like hope didn't mean anything to me, you know. I was looking for a way out, not a way in. I don't even know that statement would mean anything unless you felt the same way, and then I think you're probably like nodding your head like, yeah, I felt exactly the same way. And you know, my advice to you would be just don't ever give up, you know. I was talking to somebody tonight that like they've tried over like so many times, you know, to start over and get sober just in like the last, you know, 2 years. And I was like, yeah, but you don't know, like this could be the time, right? Like this could be the time that everything changes for you. Like I had no idea of December 17th, 1994 when I walked into treatment. I had no idea that that was gonna be the time. I mean, I'd done it before, you know? I had said all the things. I mean, I knew what to say. I knew what, you know what I mean? Like, the thing is that I know what to say, I know what to do, all of that. Like, there's really nothing to say other than just the truth of what's in your soul and what's in your heart and what you're going through. And I don't know, it just breaks my heart to see people still suffering, you know, when I realize, like, what a gift I've been handed today, and recovery is a gift. Because, like, as I'm sitting there, even with people that have 4 days, you know, like, this is what was humbling, was to sit there and, you know, go around the room and hear, you know, everybody like in the room like said how many days they had or whatever, and you know, for some people to say like 12 hours or 24 hours, you know, and there are people dying out there as I speak right now from addiction, you know, and for that reason alone, I'll never stop talking about it because it's that important to me. You know, and I think like going with some of my friends, it was interesting because this was like a service commitment for my home group, and I thought it was just going to be Tanya and her sponsee and myself, and it ended up being this guy that I'm friends with, and he brought 2 guys that he's sponsoring that are like early in sobriety. And then there was like this woman that I've been friends with for like 15 years. And then like, you know, she brought somebody. I mean, there was like a lot of us there, you know, that all knew each other. We're all friends, you know, and it's like there's a camaraderie there, you know, that, I don't know, it just, I was sitting looking at my friends tonight and I thought, I just got really moved, you know. I thought, like, I just, you know, I feel so blessed to be sober and to start my day off today, and like, and it was exactly what I needed tonight. It was exactly what I needed, because I was totally lacking motivation today. You know, I just was like, I didn't feel well really, and then to sit there with my friends and, you know, see some hope in some newcomers' eyes, you know, and to think that any one of these people could, you know, go on to tell their story and inspire somebody else. It's a really cool thing, you know, it's a really, really cool thing. Was kind of like looking around the room at like the people that I knew that were, you know, my friends that I've known for a long time, and I don't know, there were 6 or 7 of us, and I was like, I mean, I don't think any of us are winning Pulitzer Prizes or Oscars, you know, but what amazing lives we have. And, you know, I know what every single one of them has gone through, and, you know, family members of theirs that have passed, and I've been to some of their weddings, and, you know, and what a blessing to be allowed to be in somebody's life, for somebody to show you their life and to show you the details of their, I mean, that's a blessing, you know. It's like how I feel like when you guys share stuff with me, you know. I don't want to read the card because the card was really personal to me, but this is the card that I was talking about last night. There was a handwritten letter in it too, and I'm sure she wouldn't mind, but I wanted to share it with Tanya because the woman that shared her letter was talking about how her husband had passed from esophageal cancer, and that my vlogs had helped her with that, getting through that time. And I don't think I've talked a lot about this on here, but Tanya's husband had esophageal cancer, and that was at the time that I started my vlogs, you know, and Tanya would say, can you just come and get me out of this house and get me out of my head for a little bit? You know, I'm like so worried, I'm so scared. And he's doing great now, but so I shared the letter with Tanya tonight, and she said we're all connected, you know, like all of our stories are so connected. And she's like, isn't the human experience just such a cool thing, you know, that we're like, we were talking about the quote, you know, of like being spiritual, you know, the spirit's having a human experience. And it's so true, you know, like pain is universal, but so is joy. And she looked at me and she said, isn't that so wonderful that that woman wrote you? Like, she goes, that's amazing. And she goes, and I feel so blessed, you know? And sometimes I think it's blessings in disguise that we don't see. I don't know. Tonight I just feel very, very blessed, and I feel like I'm very blessed and lucky to have the life that I have. And for those of you out there that watch regularly and comment, and I feel like you're, you know, just part of all of it, it's just so cool, and I feel just honored, you know, like, thank you. And thank you for sharing your stories and even watching, and like, you know, if you never comment, I think that's okay, you know what I mean? It just, I don't know. It's really snowing right now. It's really pretty too. Here, I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna see it. It never shows up on camera, like that's what I was gonna say. Do you see, like, you can kind of see it, but not really over there. It's like, you see? It's so pretty. I always feel so spiritual, you know, after I leave a meeting. I always feel so, I don't know what, I mean, the word to say I feel blessed is just a word that captures all of it for me. You know, I just feel so incredibly blessed, uplifted, hopeful. It's a double-edged sword too, because there's a sadness that comes with it, you know, like that, you know, that there are going to be some people that aren't going to make it, and yet there's going to be somebody that does. And you know, I think that was the deciding factor for me when I got sober. Was, I don't know when it switched, but there was a point for me where I didn't care if I lived or died. I didn't want to die, but I didn't care either way. But then at some point it switched for me in like towards the end of treatment, where I was like, I'm going to be the one that makes it. It was around the time that I said to my, you know, counselor, I mean, I thought it in my head that day, but I think I really got it like a couple days later, you know, when I said how many people, it was like 30 of us in a room, and I said, what's the statistic rate, you know, of how many people make it, or, you know, and she said it's like 1 in 30, and I looked around the room, and there's like 30 people in the room. I'm like, I'm gonna be the one, you know, like, and everybody could have thought that, you know, we could all be sitting here today. I think that many times, you know, we stand in the way of our own success because of our own self-doubt and lack of support. You know, and I even look at that, you know, that I had like one of the questions I get asked so regularly is, you know, like my friend, my brother, my sister, my mom, whatever is getting sober, how can I be a really supportive person to them? And it's like, tell them that you're being supportive, you know, educate yourself on addiction and recovery and setting boundaries and limits, and love compassionately and be tough love, you know? And I look back and I sit and I hear stories from people that will say, like, you know, my family will say things to me like, oh, can't you just have a drink? No, this is what I've heard other people say. They'll tell me that they, you know, their families say to them, well, you can have a drink, or you could smoke a joint, can't you? Or a pill won't hurt you, or whatever, because they're just surrounded with families that use. Well, you know, I had a mother that used, but she wasn't pushing drinks on me, thankfully. Had that been the case, I don't know that I'd be here right now. You know what I mean? I didn't go back into that environment. I don't know what that's like. I feel blessed that I had friends that didn't want to stop using, but cared enough about me that they distanced themselves from me. You know what I mean? And, I just feel like every little thing lined up together for me to be sitting here today, and I don't know, it's just pretty magical. I don't take my life for granted anymore, or the things that happen, the good things, you know, the small things, the large things. It's all of it just really powerful and really cool. Like a little snowstorm like tonight, or, you know, Alex just sent me a picture of the dogs all sleeping on his lap, and you know, it's just stuff like that, you know, that life is truly magical. It really is. All right, well, listen, I'm gonna stop now. I can't believe my vlog is done and it's 11:15. I'm gonna get off here and go and eat my food, and then I'm gonna start rendering this so I have this up for tomorrow, and I will be back tomorrow. Now, Friday night, I am planning on doing a live stream, so if you're watching this, you'll be watching this on Friday if you are. I'm gonna do a live stream tonight, probably about 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouNow. It's linked below. You can go check it out. Just come join in. We'll tell stories and sing and dance and have fun, and it's just, you know, you can have it on in the background or whatever. But come and join if you want. And I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.